My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on Earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans who, like me, make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too are goofy for goofy, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're a Disney novice just thinking about or currently planning your first trip. And the person who thinks that you can go to Walt Disney World and see Harry Potter, you can't. He's at Universal. Then this really is the podcast for you. Every week, I'll be chatting to other Disney fans from around the UK to share their memories of magical times. And this week, we'll catch up with Emma, whose two boys had a run-in with the Resistance at Star Wars.
I actually got told by Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think you need to calm it down, son.
Also, going to be answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting the latest news and gossip from the parks, and if you're about to head over to Orlando, everything you will need to know. This is the most magical podcast on Earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. Make sure you keep in touch. We are at Pod Magical on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. That's the place to go. If you've got any Walt Disney World questions that I can answer for you on the podcast every week, I've had a question here that has come in from a direct message. I'm not going to mention the name of the person, but they'll be going later on next year with somebody who's got an invisible disability and wants to know what is the best way to deal with long queues for rides. Well, you might have heard about this already. You can do a little bit of research on this. You can apply for a DAS card, DAS card, which stands for Disability Access Service. Now, you can find out more about this if you go to guest relations at the main entrance locations, any of the parks, and they will talk you through this. If you've got a doctor's note or anything you can take with you, just with the proof of your disability or illness, that will help. I know somebody who's got a card from Crohn's disease. I think it's called a can't wait card. And basically what it is, it's a card that will save you queuing for an attraction. So not like a fast pass. So you'll still go to the attraction. You'll go up to the cast member on the attraction. So if the queue is an hour long, show your DAS card and they will give you a time to come back. Now, you can't keep going to loads of attractions and get loads of comeback times. It's literally one ride at a time. But if you're somebody who, for one reason or another, can't be standing in a queue for more than 10, 15 minutes. This is a great way just to help you. Any questions about that, of course, Disney will always be able to answer them if you give them a call and they'll be able to sort that out. But the DAS card is what you're looking for. DAS, Disability Access Service. I hope that helps. Another question here came through on Twitter with a new listener, John. Thank you for following us on Twitter. Thank you for your question, John. Just wants a bit of advice for kids who, let's put it this way, are not big fans of characters. Well, if you've got little ones who are a little bit afraid of characters, I think Walt Disney World is actually a good place to go. Out of all the Disney parks, because it's so big, you're less likely just to randomly bump into Mickey Mouse in the street. If you want to go and see the characters, you've mostly got to go and find them. So if you've got a little one who's a little bit scared, maybe towards the end of the holiday, let them watch the parades from a bit of a distance. Probably want to stay away from character dining because then they will come up to the tables while you're eating. But do you know what? It might be worthwhile at the end of your holiday just trying maybe a character dining or trying a little character greet, maybe Winnie the Pooh. I've been in one of the Winnie the Pooh attractions where we had like a screaming child who was only about 7 or 8 months old, and the cast members, they've just got a great way of dealing with kids who are maybe just a little bit frightened. The character will come down to their level so they're not towering over them. You can even, boop, goofy schnoot, give him a little cuddle. Towards the end of I wouldn't do it at the beginning of the holiday because they terrified them for life. But if you've already booked and you're already going, obviously there's so many incredible things to do that don't involve characters. But maybe towards the end of it, just try them out. Winnie the Pooh is always quite a good one because he's just a big cuddly teddy bear, isn't he? Natalie is a new follower on Instagram. Thanks for following. Thanks for liking our pics. And thanks for sending this question, Natalie. She is going to Florida 2020, July and August. Wants to know what the crowds are like. And because the Olympics are on, which I think are from Japan, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020, will there be anything in or around the parks to celebrate the Olympics? Well, first up, crowds. It's going to be busy because end of July, August, you're into summer holiday season. It's going to be very hot and humid as well. We'll get the weather for at the moment in the parks later on in the podcast. In terms of the Olympics, I think it's a little bit early to tell. I can tell you that anywhere that's got a screen will be showing the Olympics. So any of the bars and the lounges in the hotel resorts will definitely have it. Over at Boardwalk, ESPN will definitely have it because that is a massive sports bar. They've got about 100 screens. So if you're into your sports, then ESPN definitely is somewhere to go. I know that on I think it was the last Olympics or the Olympics before, they did a big event at Swan and Dolphin for the opening ceremony, where it was like a private ticketed event with food, and they had special guests and previous gold medalists from various American Olympics from years gone by. So obviously a bit early to tell yet whether they're going to be doing anything like that, but definitely keep your eye on Swan and Dolphin and have a great time. Florida 2020. It'll be here before you know it. If you've got any questions like that, or maybe you want to come onto the podcast, let me know. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, we are at Podmagical. And talking about on the podcast, because we have a new guest every week to talk about their Walt Disney World experiences. This week is somebody who's just come back from Walt Disney World with the family, the four of them, 2 boys. This is Emma. So Emma, tell me, what is it you love about Walt Disney World?
I think it's just the absolute magic of it. Like, you live in this bubble. We stayed on resorts. We stay in the Disney hotels. And I think it's just this perfect bubble, and the fact that everything's always on, and it's just magic. I just love it. It's just magic. Like, it was everything and more that we ever wanted.
And what about the boys? Because you've got 2 boys.
Yeah, I've got 2 boys. So there were 7 and 11, and I think we timed it perfectly because the youngest was tall enough to go on the majority of the rides. And I think that was always our concern going earlier when the boys were younger, that it'd be a bit of a waste of money. And I think,
it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. And when you've got kids, you've got to go within school holidays, and you want to make sure that you're getting the best value for money. So, yeah, it's lovely to take them when they're younger, but A, you want them to remember it. B, you want them to be able to get on as many rides as possible. Felt like the perfect age for them. It was just before the eldest was going on to secondary school. They went on all the rides. The only one that the youngest one wasn't tall enough for was the Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, okay.
So I think my suggestion would be to parents is look for the height restrictions on the rides, measure your kids. And then you can almost like plan your fast passes around
the kids' heights.
Yeah, based on the kids' heights. So I think there was only Rock and Roller Coaster that he technically wasn't tall enough to go on. So they went on absolutely everything else, all the other roller coasters, because they're that bit older, they're not as scared. They'd also never been on a roller coaster.
So it was the first time they went on one was in Florida.
Yeah. So they had no understanding of what they were about to get.
So what was the first one they went on?
Splash Mountain was the very first one, and the photo from that, the professional one, is hilarious. The 7-year-old looks absolutely terrified as we tip down to go into that final descent. But we did them quite close together. So we did Splash Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, because it can go either way, can't it? If they've never been on a roller coaster, you put them on the first one on the first day, they hate it. Holiday ruined.
Thankfully for me, 2 boys, they were like, let's do it again.
They got the bug for it. Yeah. It's interesting to say you had to see how tall they were. Yeah. How long was it before you went? Like, if you book 12 months in advance, have you got to get a wall chart? Go, come on, grow. You're not growing fast enough. Get a greenhouse.
Yeah. Well, my 2 are not benefiting from height, shall we say. They are very short. So we booked in the November and we went in the May. So I know that that's quite a quick turnaround, and not a lot of people have got that ability to go that quickly. Yeah. I measured them at the time of doing the fast passes and then took the advice from Disney Experience. So the call centre for Disney, with My Disney Experience, the call centre, if you book with Disney, were just brilliant. The first phone call I had was with an American guy, and he was fantastic. And he told me what order to book my fast passes in based on popularity. He said, don't book them by the days that you go in. He said, do them by the most popular ones first. So
like the likes of Slinky Dog, Flight of Passage, all them, get them in the bag.
Yeah. So Flight of Passage was the main one, and Seven Dwarfs. He said, you'll not get on them. So he said, make sure you get them in. So so the day I was doing the fast passes, the night before, I literally measured them, because they're not going to shrink.
Hopefully not. I don't think so. It's not been known.
You hope not. So as long as they're tall enough at that point. But I knew the height restrictions, and I made loads of notes. Like, I knew which rides I wanted to go on, and I had written down like the height restrictions next to them. I was proper full on.
You were full on. We'll get more of your planning tips, but I want to find out what's been your favourite memory of everything, something you did.
It was the moment we turned the corner onto Main Street in Magic Kingdom, I literally burst into tears.
So like the first time you walked in there as a family?
Yeah. So you walk in through the main gates of Magic Kingdom and you come into like I can't remember the name of it, but there's like a square and then that leads on to Main Street.
Yeah.
The view of the castle is the first thing that you see. And as I turned the corner going onto Main Street, I literally like welled up and burst into tears because I think for me I have an appreciation of it. I've got 40 odd years of dreaming and wishing and hoping that I could go to Disney World. And it was the realisation of that moment. And it's funny because my other half, who's a hardened brummie, even he had a bit of a tear in his eye of, wow.
Yeah.
Like, this is truly magical.
He'd not been before, had he?
No, neither. It was the first time for all of us.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was, I think it's the ambience, it's everything about it. You know, just the music, and I'm sure they must pipe in smells as well. You know, there's the whole sensory experience with each of the parks. You get something different, but it was, you walked in and you could hear Mickey's voice coming over the tannoy and the music playing. And as you turn the corner and I saw the castle at Magic Kingdom for the first time.
Got you. What about that one attraction that you must do then?
The fireworks at Magic Kingdom, Happily Ever After. But you've got to do it in the park because we saw it from 2 vantage points. We saw it in the park and we also saw it from Contemporary Resort, which is the hotel next door. We went to the 15th floor. We went to
California Grill.
That's it. Yeah, we booked there from dinner. And again, you can go out onto the viewing platform and watch the fireworks from there. But it's a different vantage point and you don't get the same magic and
I think you need to be there for that one. Because of the projections on the castle, you just need to be a bit nearer.
And the music and the volume as well, because the music was piped into the hotel, but it was at a lower volume. And I think it adds to the gravitas and the emotional connection that you have with the whole, like I say, it's a sensory experience.
You say you stay on property, you stay at Disney. So of all the hotels and resorts, have you got a favourite? Where do you like to stay?
Port Orleans Riverside Resort, which was just stunning. So my favourite film was The Princess and the Frog. Yeah. And it's based on
Is that why you chose it?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. The buildings are beautiful. It literally looks like you're in New Orleans. It's the beautiful white, big, deep South American buildings, and it's set on a river. It's stunning.
How did you find getting around? Because I know they got the boat that goes to Disney Springs direct.
Yeah.
What about the free transport, the shuttle buses?
Buses
and stuff?
were great.
Good?
Super regular. I love the fact that when we came out of Magic Kingdom really late after the fireworks, there was loads of buses, so you're not waiting too long. There's not too long of a gap between one bus leaving and another one arriving. In fact, they just swamp you with transport opportunities, so you're never standing around thinking, God, where's the next bus coming? You know, you can really rely on it. It's really regular, clean, can get busy, obviously, but they deliberately don't overpack the transport either. So from Port Orleans, you can get a riverboat, like you say, direct down to Disney Springs, which was really nice on an evening. You also had the buses out to all the parks, but we also did the monorail. We went from Epcot to Magic Kingdom, but we also went over to Contemporary Resort that way as well.
Oh, yeah, you can get out there, can't you? Yeah.
So, we literally used all the transport.
All the
free transport.
I've not been to Disney. I've not ridden on the monorail and cable car and a boat and everything like that. It's got to be done. You say you booked in, what was it, November?
Yeah.
And then you went in May. So
half term.
Did you book in the window where you got free dining?
Yeah, we got one of the packages. So we got free dining and we got the photo passes and the tickets, obviously, the tickets to the park. So it was a Disney package. We booked it direct with Disney. And I'd do that again. I think my only top tip on that is be aware that when your flights are booked, you need to book your seats. That caught me out. So you buy the Disney package, and we flew with Virgin Atlantic, so they book the flights for you, but they don't book your seats. I didn't get my seats allocated on the flight out there. Luckily for us, though, we were allocated bulkhead seats, and that meant that we had loads of legroom.
Fluky. So with the dining plan, how did you find that then? So I'm guessing you had a quick service because you were staying at a moderate resort.
So many table service and so many quick service, and we literally didn't spend any more money.
All right, so you got the free quick service, but you then upgraded that. You paid the extra to get on the regular dining plan. It's
such good value for money, the dining plan. It might feel like a big expense going out, but it was brilliant for us because when you get to the parks and you see how much it is to pay cash, God, it saved us a fortune.
You're not worrying about it, especially if it's free.
Yeah, you get the feel of how to use it and how to get the most out of it. Another tip is for a family of British people, a family of 4 British people, you don't need necessarily to get a meal per person. So we find that in our quick service restaurant at the hotel, we could get an adult pizza and an adult pasta and share that between the 4 of us, and that was more than enough to feed us. And therefore you're saving these quick service credits. Yeah.
For the end, when you've got a load left.
Yeah, and then you just get all the goofy sweets and bring them into work for your work.
That's another good tip. Yeah. And do you have a favourite restaurant when you were over there?
Can I have 3?
Okay, you can. I'll let you have top 3 in reverse order.
Okay.
But actually, let's check in with the latest news from the parks, and then we'll be back with Emma's top 3 restaurants. And starting with big news, if you're a Star Wars fan, Rise of the Resistance, the big attraction, is going to be opening at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disney's Hollywood Studios on December the 5th. It has been announced. That's Walt's birthday, by the way. Then it will open later over at Disneyland in California in January. This has been described as the must-do attraction when Galaxy's Edge opens. Galaxy's Edge opens at the end of August, but this big new attraction, which is a battle between the dark side and the Resistance, will take you through what has been described as the ultimate storytelling ever in any attraction, the most immersive attraction that Disney has ever been involved in. Obviously, Star Wars Smuggler's Run, that's where you get to drive the Millennium Falcon, will be open on opening day over at Hollywood Studios, but we're going to have to wait a month or 2 before we get to ride what is going to be known as the big attraction, Rise of the Resistance. In other news, we've got a brand new resort that we can now experience, Disney's Grand Destino Tower over at Disney's Coronado Springs, which is now open. A beautiful hotel. It's more like a business and conference centre, but it's absolutely stunning. A big lobby. They're called the Barcelona Lounge, which is very much Gaudi-inspired Spanish architecture, and then Salvador Dali-inspired architecture throughout the hotel. It's very Vegas. And at the top of this, 16th floor, Toledo, which is the tapas, steak and seafood restaurant. There's another bar at the top on there, the Dahlia Lounge, and the beautiful views all over Epcot and Hollywood Studios. In fact, panoramic views of all of Walt Disney World. The Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs is part of that resort. A moderate resort as well. Looks like a very high-end hotel for a moderate resort. Also, we've got new buses coming to Walt Disney World. You might have seen pictures of these over the last week or so. These kind of like match the Skyliner cable cars that will start operating at the end of August. They've got characters on them, and so have the new buses. So they've got pictures of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, all huge pictures on the front of them. They also will be Wi-Fi and USB equipped. So yes, you can charge your iPhone on the way to the park in the park buses. And also we're getting some changes coming to Futureworld at Epcot. Obviously, there's a lot of renovations coming to Epcot over the next year or so. So some things are moving, some things are going, including the character meet spot, where you used to be able to meet Mickey and all his friends. That is now going. So some of the characters are going to be having new locations. So Minnie and Daisy, they'll get to meet them over at American Adventure from September. Also, Club Cool is going to be temporarily closing. Hopefully we'll get a new location somewhere else in Epcot now if you haven't been to Club Cool. This is where you can try free Coke products from around the world, including one called Beverly. This is an Italian Coke product called Beverly. But some people love it, most people hate it, but I think it's a rite of passage. You haven't been to Walt Disney World if you've not tasted Beverly. And you can, up to the 8th of September in Futureworld. No location news as of yet. Keep up to date with everything going on at Walt Disney World, of course, 24/7. If you follow us or like us, Pod Magical, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, which is the same place to go if you fancy being our guest 1 week on the podcast. This week, it's Emma, who's just come back with her family and is about to tell us 3 top Disney World restaurants.
So number 3 for restaurants would be the Rainforest Cafe at Animal Kingdom.
They've got 2 of those, haven't they? There's one at Disney Springs as well.
There is, but we only did the one at Animal Kingdom, and it's fantastic. The food, the service, just the experience. And I think that's the thing with all of the restaurants, is that extra edge. So you're sitting in a rainforest with all the sounds and the noises and smells. And but yeah, watch out for the merch shop. There's a merch shop for the restaurant.
There's a merch shop everywhere. Everywhere you get a merch shop.
But yeah, that was my third. That was fantastic. We really enjoyed it there.
Number 2 then?
Oh, the SciFi Diner
Hollywood Studio. So this is where you actually sit in the car.
You sit in the car and it's like it's like sitting in Greece. So you're sitting in a...
Grease the film, she means, not actually...
Yeah.
Like chip fat.
Yeah, so it's a 1950s driving movie that you're sitting in. You're sitting in the car and there's screen playing 1950s old sci-fi films where you've got like somebody holding a Godzilla jumping it across the screen. And my kids were like, is that real, Mummy, or is that made up? I was like, yeah, that was pre-CGI, kids. So that was just wonderful. Like you have the guy serving you food and coming to the side of the car and food comes out the hatch and it's just a brilliant ambience.
Good burgers in there as well. Good burgers and milkshakes.
I think number one would be California Grill. But then it's a different experience to the other one because it's a la carte food. It's very, very posh. Very posh. It's like, you've got to wear nice clothes. So it's not like a burger joint. So
it's a special night then.
Yeah, and we did it for the final night.
So from favourite restaurants, I've never actually asked this before. Favourite park out of the 4 theme parks that there are at Walt Disney World, favourite park?
Animal Kingdom is by far the best park.
Why do you think that?
I think it's just so well put together. The way that you navigate the park, how each thing leads into the other, the sets. That you do literally feel like you've walked. So you walk into Africa, into Asia, into Pandora. I mean, the Pandora part of the park in its own right is just, you really feel like you're in the movie. You really feel like you are in this world. It's the way that they bring it to life. Really excited me, and I think when you walk through and you see the lions, got the Kilimanjaro safari, which was outstanding, and it's the knowledge that the people had at the park around the animals, around their natural habitats. They're clearly conservationists or animal specialists, and it's just it is an educational piece as well as being fun and and something to enjoy. The kids learnt a lot. They came away understanding more about the animals and the natural habitat and everything. And it was just everything. I get so excited thinking about Animal Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is magic, and it's the original, and there's something really, really special about it. But Animal Kingdom, in terms of if you could only do one park, I'd say Animal Kingdom.
Really?
It was the one I was most excited for, and it absolutely delivered.
Back to your planning strategy, your top tips. Was there anything that you did on that trip that you said, this is what I tell people to do?
My other half and I, both my kids, we're all mad on Star Wars. So the Jedi training is absolutely key. Even the oldest one loved it. So the top tip that I got given was, as soon as you get to Hollywood, get there early and go straight to book your Jedi training.
Okay, so Jedi training, this is where, because I've only seen this in the parks, this is where I've seen kids with lightsabers fighting Darth Vader.
That's it.
And so what do they do? Do they teach you how to use a lightsaber? And
it's a full kind of like theatrical piece. So they've got the costumes, they've got the robes, they've got the lightsabers, and they go up and they meet like an equivalent Obi-Wan Kenobi to Jedi Masters. And there's a full choreographed piece and theatre piece where they teach the kids, this is how you do the fighting, and then they bring out Kylo Ren and Darth Vader. So you've got a group of, I think there was probably about 20 kids.
Right.
So 10 fight Darth Vader, 10 fight Kylo Ren. Both mine did Darth Vader.
Did they win?
The 11-year-old nearly knocked his head off. He went a little bit too overboard and actually got told by Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think you need to calm it down, son.
Wow.
So he broke...
Force is strong with that one.
Yeah, he broke character for a second, which I think is really rare with any of the Disney staff.
Yeah.
From the cleaner right through to, the characters. When I tried to meet Snow White, and the characters are going off for their break and they get somebody else.
No, they're not. They're going... Chip and Dale have to check their nuts every now and then. Donald has to check on Huey, Louie and Dewey.
Yeah,
Snow White has to go and check on the dwarves. That's what they tell you. That's what I believe.
She was polishing her apples.
Oh, was she now?
I was told. I was like, oh, hey. So, don't leave it. Go early to Hollywood. Go in like 8 if you've got magic hours, 9 o'clock. Go straight in, turn left. And you go to the Indiana Jones stunt area.
Oh, it's a theatre.
Yeah, the booking place is to the left of the theatre, and you go there and you book it. And we got there. I literally ran from walking in the door. So it's probably a good sort of 7-minute walk from once you've got through all the security. I ran and I got there at 9:25 and all of the slots were booked up until 3:00.
Wow.
And they only do it up until 5.
So you just got in.
So I just
and
got in.
you can't book it online. You can only book it on the day.
Only book it on the day. And that kind of saved our day. If I'd just got, we'll go along when it suits us and when the time, you wouldn't have got in. So go in, go left, go book it straight away. Even if you get a slot for 5:00 in the afternoon.
It's worth doing.
Both of the kids loved it. And it's a memory that'll last a lifetime. The day my eldest, Jay, knocked off Darth Vader's head.
What would be a dream trip if you could go back?
Oh, no, Star Wars Land is opened. It's a must. It wasn't open. It was due to open. It's due to open in August. So, yeah, that's our biggest regret that wasn't open yet.
Are you saving up to go back again then?
Yeah, plans already in place.
You're not coming with you, obviously. Lovely chatting to you. And, of course, I've got to say this now. Have a magical day.
Have a magical day.
If you want to be a future guest on the podcast, love chatting about Walt Disney World, maybe you've got a favourite memory or maybe you've got some top tips that people should know about because we want everybody to have the best time, you can get in touch. We are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at PodMagical. If you're heading over to the parks in the next week or so, lucky you. It's going to be very hot and humid. Temperatures low to mid-30s with those afternoon thunderstorms possible. There's quite a few events going on if you've been listening over the last couple of weeks' podcasts. Not a lot has changed, really. Over at Epcot, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy mixtape with the live versions of songs from Guardians of the Galaxy. Animation Academy, teaching you how to draw some classic Disney cartoon characters over at Animal Kingdom. Also, as well, if you're looking for some late night entertainment, there's Disney's H2O Glow Nights. These are it's like a glow party, which they do on select nights at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon Water Park. It's a separately ticketed event, but it is hosted by Rex from Toy Story and loads of other things. There's DJ dance party, there's bars and stuff like that going on. And similarly over at SeaWorld, they've got some nighttime entertainment as well. They're Electric Ocean Nights, which have got DJs and fireworks. And there's like a light and music show, some very special late nights versions of their shows over at SeaWorld. That's on various nights through to the beginning of September. Basically now we're into holiday period, aren't we, now that schools are off in a couple of weeks. If you are going, don't forget to keep in touch. We are Pod Magicals, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Always love to be tagged in your photographs. It makes us feel like we're going over there with you. Andy's top tip of the week this week. Don't take a bag. Well, this might not be possible. If you've got kids, or you've got a buggy, or a stroller, as they're called over there, probably going to take a load of stuff with you. But if you can, just try and not have anything in a bag because it will cut so much time at security. There are bag checks and they go through every single bag at every single park. So if you've not got a bag, you're going to be avoiding all those lines and you're just going straight through scanner and you're pretty much in the park avoiding all those long lines. When you get to the park, especially as people get in there in the morning and it's really busy, you're going to look at those lines and go, oh no, is this just the start of a whole day of queuing? So if you can get maybe just what do you need? You need your phone, you need your Magic Band is everything because your Magic Band is your theme park tickets, it's your room key, you can charge things to it as well. So if possible, just put things in your pocket and don't take a bag. Your phone, your Magic Band, what else do you want? Any more top tips? I would love to hear from you and we can share them on the podcast. There's a new podcast every Friday. If you're listening on iTunes, on Apple, or you're listening on Spotify, make sure you're subscribed because, as I say, we've got a brand new podcast landing every Friday. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.